Hey there, interwebs. I've posted a lot of fantasy videos lately, and now it's time for something completely different. As long-time viewers may know, I like language and linguistics. It's one of the things that draws me to Tolkien's works, but I'm not here today to talk about Elvish. I'm not here to talk about English, either. You see, in English, letters come together to form words, and words come together to form sentences. In German, letters come together to form words, and words come together to form longer words, and sometimes it never really gets past that. Take, for example, the very real word that I swear I'm not making up, Fußbodenschleifmaschinenverleih, which literally means foot-ground grind machine rental, or floor sander rental. German compound words can also be very specific and illustrative, such as Kümmerspeck, which literally means grief bacon and refers to the weight you put on from too much comfort food. One of my hobbies is making up new German words, the longer and more specific, the better. I'll share some of these neolexical gems with you now. Ungeduldigkäseverbrennt, verb, literally, impatient cheese burned. Have you ever made food, grilled cheese for example, and it's too hot to eat right away, but it looks so good so you just wait and watch it, and you watch it and wait some more, and you watch and wait and wait and watch and watch and wait, and at some point you say screw it and you take a big bite and burn the shit out of yourself and you go, "This is a horrible mistake, I regret everything!" And then you keep eating. That's Ungeduldigkäseverbrennt, when you burn yourself on food because you're too impatient to let it cool all the way. On the subject of food, Leerekaffeebecherenttäuschung, noun, literally, empty coffee mug disappointment. Have you ever been working on something, say for example a script for a YouTube video, and you have a mug of coffee or tea or other beverage that you're sipping from as you work? At some point you go to take another sip and there's no more coffee left and a great sadness sweeps over you. That's Leerekaffeebecherenttäuschung, the feeling of sadness when you discover you're out of beverage. Still sticking with food, Zornigessen. This one isn't actually that long, but it's a word we desperately need, because logically it's what immediately follows hangry. It simply means to eat angrily, probably because you're really hungry and being rushed. I have another word for when you're trying to do something angrily. Böserschlaflosigkeithosen, noun, literally, angry sleeplessness pants. This strangely melodic word is one for when you've been trying to fall asleep forever and you realize nothing is working. It's that moment in the night where you've been trying to get to bed and it just isn't happening until finally you angrily take your pajama pants off in defeat and then you sleep just fine. Next we have Ausmithangen. This verb is more like Deutsches English, or simply Denglish, than pure German, and it means to hang out with somebody. We English speakers often say something like, "There's someone I want to hang out with," but that's grammatically incorrect. We might say, "There's someone with whom I want to hang out," because ending a sentence with a preposition is something up with which we shall not put. But the grammatically correct way of saying it is, "There's someone out with whom I'd like to hang," which is insane. In Denglish, now I just ask my friend if she'd like to Ausmithangen. Of course, we don't hang Ausmit our friends for their company, we do it for their pets. We are overcome with Katzebelästigendrang, noun, literally, cat harassing urge. It's the uncontrollable desire to pet, scratch, and generally annoy a cat, and another word many of us desperately need. Next, we have 28 Buchstabenwort. This 28-letter word means 28-letter word. Interestingly, if a word is said to be autological, that means it is a word which describes itself, such as unhyphenated, magniloquent, or indeed 28 Buchstabenwort. There is, however, no word that means an autological word. There is also no word for when there is no word for something. This is simply known as a semantic gap. Before you rush to the comments section, I'm familiar with the word lacuna, but that just means something which is missing and doesn't have to refer to a word specifically. Speaking of a word we need but don't have, and not just weirdly specific food terms, does anyone actually know what this thing is called? It's used in war rooms and casinos the world over, and yet not I, nor either of my friends, nor the entire internet seems to have a clue. The best answers I have say the ones used in casinos are called croupiers, sticks, or rakes, and the ones used for war maps are plotting rods, but those are very shaky terms. That's why I call it Kriegskarte Drückersache, noun, literally, war map pusher thing. Lastly, finally, ultimately, I give you Kosmische Skala Traurigkeit, noun, literally, cosmic scale sadness. The sadness and depression you feel when you think about just how big space is and how long the astronomical timeline is, and realize how truly small and insignificant you, and all of humanity, really are. There is one final note I want to squeeze in before the end. I'm not pedantic about much, and people saying foreign words with their local accents doesn't bother me. I recognize that switching accents mid-sentence for one word and back again is a bigger conversational speed bump than just butchering the pronunciation and powering through. My one exception to this accent amnesty is the word for these. The word is lederhosen. If you want to call them lederhosen, that's fine, but for the love of Gauss, don't call them lederhosen. Leder is the German word for leather, and the name means leather pants. Lieder is the German word for songs, so when you say Lederhosen, what you're actually saying is singing pants. Unless you want me and every other German speaker to picture a pair of trousers with a lovely baritone, use a long A. Lederhosen. If you like made-up words... Actually, all words are made up. I'll try that again. If you like stuff that's made up, and, words, specifically my words, that means you like my writing. Fortunately for you, there's plenty of it available in ebook form over on Amazon. The link to my Kindle shelf is in the description, along with links to my Twitter and AO3. That's right, I have a Twitter account now. It's almost like I'm trying to make some bloody money at last, so read my stuff. Thanks for your time, auf Wiedersehen, and have a nice day. Noun. Literally, cat harassing.
Yeah.